Okay, back again. Hopefully the sound quality is better. I forgot to put the microphone close to my mouth, which I just did now. So in mental distancing, part one, let's say step one, I asked you to just notice perceptions. Notice that there was hearing, notice that there was seeing, notice that there was physical sensations, notice that smelling is occurring, notice that tasting is occurring. And in doing so, step two was to notice the noticer. Notice that there's noticing, becoming aware that there's awareness, observing the observer. And that's a critical point that I will come back to again, probably in the next video. But I wanted to go back to the noticing of perceptions. Noticing of sounds, that's easy. We operate from that perspective all the time, that we hear something, we say that, we, as if there's someone here hearing something. So there's awareness that hearing is happening. We are aware that we're seeing a world around us. So there's awareness of seeing. There's awareness of times that we smell something, especially when something fragrant kind of wafts across our nostrils. We can become aware of tasting, especially when we eat something. And we become aware of physical sensations, comfort or discomfort, pressure, temperature, heat, especially this summer. It's been a pretty hot summer. So we have sight, seeing, audition, hearing, audio, hearing, smells, tastes, touch. Those are, we call those our five senses. But there's a sixth sense here, and that sense is our mind. So now, take a moment and just wait for a thought to arise. It might be something like, oh, I've heard this already. But notice the thought. That's this next step. Notice the thought arising. Most of us operate in a way where we don't actually notice our thought processes. We just assume that these thoughts are who we are, and we don't necessarily see that there's observation of those thoughts. There's awareness of those thoughts. There's noticing of those thoughts. So in the first video, I had you notice seeing, hearing, tasting, touching, smelling. I also asked you to notice that you're noticing seeing, hearing, tasting, physical sensations, smelling. So now I want you to notice your thoughts. Notice that there's thinking. Or similarly, notice that there's feelings. Maybe you're feeling happy today, or joyful, or perhaps sad. Or maybe you're having thoughts, angry thoughts about something that's going on, or happy thoughts about something that's going on. So thoughts and feelings go hand in hand with each other. But the point of this is, I want you to just create the separation and notice the thoughts. I'm including feelings with that, but I'll just use the word thoughts. Notice the thoughts. Now, when you hear something, you don't think that what it is that you're hearing is you. I hear a bird. There's a bird, an object of perception. I see a world around me. It's an object of perception. I'm eating something and I taste the food. It's an object of perception, the food, or the smell of the food, or of a fragrance that you notice. Excuse me. So all of these objects of perception, from seeing, hearing, tasting, touching, smelling, are objects of perception, or we could say they're objects of awareness of these perceptions. So we consider them outside of ourselves. Now that's a point for the next video. So let's just stick with this, creating the separation, the artificial separation between those perceptions and the awareness of perceptions. And I want you to now include thought as another perception. Become aware of your thinking, of your feelings. Notice that thoughts arise. And if nothing's arising right now because you're listening to this talk, I guarantee you, as soon as this is over, a thought's going to arise. Prove me wrong on that one. It will. Maybe it's thought of what you have to do next, or thought of something. A self-referential thought, perhaps. A thought of what you should have done or could have done. So, but the point is right now, just notice the thoughts. Because unlike all our other perceptions, we actually think the thoughts are ours. Even worse, we think we are the thoughts. And here it is. We think we are the thoughts, that when thinking happens, that is who we are. So, which is why I'm asking you to just take a step back now and notice the thought. Because if you're noticing the thought, then what's doing the noticing? You can't be the thought. Thought's just an object of perception. So there's awareness of the thought, there's observing of the thought, there's noticing of the thought. And now we could take the step 2 part that we did last time, and you become aware that you're aware of your thought. Become aware that you're noticing the thought. Notice that you're aware of the thought. I'm just rearranging my words, but it's the same thing. So we create the separation. Step 1 here is notice the thought. Become aware of the thought. The thought can't be you. So there's observer and there's observed. The thought is the observed. It's an object of perception. So again, this is not technically correct, which I'll get to in the next video, but there is a separation between observer awareness, and observe thought. This is an important step. You just sit there, wait for a thought to arise. Might be, oh, this is silly. Doesn't matter what the thought is, just notice that there's a thought. See, catch it, catch the thought. I don't mean technically catch it, I mean notice it. Because if you start to notice the thought, oh, I can't, you ever have, I can't stop my thoughts. I'm thinking too much. Well, you're noticing your thought. And there you go. You're noticing the thought. So you're not the thought. And then step 2 here is become aware that you're noticing the thought. Awareness of awareness. Stop there. It's awareness of awareness, but in this case, become very aware that you're aware of thought. Okay. This is still part of, say, step 1. I'm saying part 1, mental distancing, part 1, step 1, and step 2. So step 1, in summary, is the noticing of objects of perception. What we hear, what we see, what we taste, what we smell, what we feel physically. And now in this video, I'm including thought as an object of perception. That's step 1 in part 1. And now step 2 of part 1 is that becoming aware that you're aware of your thought. Be aware that you're aware. Same thing I did last time, only with the other objects of perception, but now I want it very clearly seen that thought is just another object of perception, that you could become aware of your thought and you become aware that you're aware of your thought. Okay? That's all I wanted to do for this talk. Next time, we're going to reintegrate this. We're going to lose the separation that I've artificially created. But it's really important to first see the separation, because we often identify as our thoughts. And I really want to make it very clear that if you're aware that you're aware of thoughts, then we can release that identification with those thoughts. It's just another object of perception, just like the birds singing outside, or the fan going in the background, or the feel of your chair or your sofa. Okay? Okay. See you next time.